Hello YouTube, D-Decken here. And after the downer that was pretty much the last Pick-a-Gift, one would think that the only direction to take that is pretty much up, in a positive, upward direction, but sadly, apparently someone thought the 6-foot hole they dug was not deep enough, so we have to dig deeper and deeper. But before that, what is the Pick-a-Gift campaign? Well, every day when you log in, you get to choose between one of three items. You pick one to keep, and the other two are discarded. You don't get them. The idea behind this event is for you to weigh your options, and pick the items you think are best for you. Some are better than others, and some aren't worth it. However, that is for you to decide, and that is the Pick-a-Gift campaign in a nutshell. So, my opinion on the last Pick-a-Gift was pretty much 50-50. The positives to take away were the removal of the dual crystals, and the shortening of the 10-day event to a 9 days. Make it a lot more efficient, in other words. And the negatives, of course, were the cards. So, one would think that, oh, those are just, negatives are minor, we can just easy fix, no problem. But this Pick-a-Gift takes one step forward, but 3 steps back. So, again, the positive of the last event was the removal of the dual crystals. Well, guess what's back? By popular demand. Okay, no, seriously. Who demanded this? Who wanted this? Do anybody like dual crystals? I think they're useful in some places, but I would never pick one over a card. Does anyone listening to this like dual crystals over cards? I'm legit curious now. Like, why? Why? It just suddenly bringing them back means you're trying to shove them down our throats. Not to mention with day two, with the recycled cards. Like, I have my playset of Mirror of Ove. Some people might not have their playset already, but for those who do, and you don't want dual crystals, then your alternative is the rare ticket, and I've discussed that to death. So I'm actually probably going to take that rare ticket on day 2, even though I don't want to. But it's the only other really option, and that kind of sucks. Like, all options are crap, but I have to pick the better of the craps. That said, what about the cards? Are the cards better this time around? Well, ignoring Mirror of Oaths and Lady of D, we have Dragonic Guard, and we have Hydro Taurus the Empowered Warrior. First, Dragonic Guard. Once again, why? Dragonic Guard is a level 33 Mokuba level up reward. It's Mokuba level 33 level reward, which is another Mokuba card to make it into the Pick-a-Gift. First was Guardian of Filgran, next was Lady of D, and now Dragonic Guard. What is this obsession with Mokuba all of a sudden? Like, he's an unlockable character in this game. You can already get his cards. Why? I mean, at least this one is a 1 of versus Lady of D being a 2 of, but this card is also available in a previous dual quest, and now we can get it here for a 3rd copy. Why? Why? Like, I don't understand what's going on. With Dragonic Guard, not to mention Dragonic Guard's effect. I think its effect is decent, but a little bit more difficult to get off, or a little bit more situational too. Because its defense is 1800, the idea is for you to set him, have your opponent crash into him, and then normal summon in your turn to get that counter going on there. But the thing is, a lot of decks can easily summon like 1900 attack or well over 2k or higher monsters on their first turn, and they can easily just run over this thing and not worry about it. There are some decks like Gladiator Beast that'll summon their Laquari or their Demikari with 16 or whatever, and they'll attack it and it'll get hit, fine. But then, like, what do you use? Let's say, hypothetically, you can get Dragonic Guard's effect up to 3 times, at most, just by stalling and keeping on the field. That's 3 counters for a level 3 or lower dragon that you can summon from your deck. What do you summon? Like, the first thing I'm thinking of is Whitestone of Legend, which is a level 1 tuner. You summon that thing, you get your Blue Eyes, and you can make your Azure Eyes plays. Fine. That is a fair argument to make. What about level 2? Kid Moto. You get 2 counters, sacrifice this thing for a weaker monster that probably will summon Blue Eyes from your hand. Okay, sure, you probably have to take up your normal summon, so what do you normal summon in that case? But are you setting another Whitestone? Are you setting another Kid Moto? Like, what are you doing? Are you just deck thing Kid Moto from your deck for the fun of it? Like, that's what I'm curious over. Like, why Dragonic Guard? Specifically speaking, why Dragonic Guard? Like, with Dragonic Guard's effect, it's mostly utilized, like, in the first few turns of a duel, which means you would want more copies, which means having a playset of him to take full advantage of him is fine and all, but because the late game is he's not going to really be seeing use, or, like, but why Dragonic Guard? So he's decent. His placement here is a bit not necessary, but he's a decent card if anything else. But then there's Hydro Tortoise, the Empowered Warrior. First and foremost, Hydro Tortoise has a really awesome name. I kind of have an affinity towards turtles, so I can't complain on that department. But his effect. He's a flip monster, which means he's a lot slower in terms of effect, and it's, target a spell or trap card your opponent controls, destroy it. Very simple, very easy effect, very easy and very effective against any deck that isn't Ancient Gear. Like, if you're going against Amazons, cool, you pop they're always going to have a card in their back row, that's awesome. You go against any rogue deck that uses back row, awesome, you get rid of it. In any other matchup, he's not worth it. Like, if you're going against someone without back row, he doesn't do anything. He's just a 14 attack point monster you summon in defense mode. That's all he is. If you go against Ancient Gear, well, you're kind of screwing yourself a little bit, because if anything, they'll have Fortress and they'll have Gear Town, and the worst thing about Hydro Turtle here is that Hydro Tortoise, his effect mandatory, meaning that if he flips, you have to use his effect. So if you set him first turn and you don't know what your opponent's playing, and it just so happens to be Ancient Gear, and they set Gear Town, or they activate Gear Town, and they just attack your monster. Like, your only option is to destroy Gear Town, and then they summon the Reactor Dragon, and then you lose. It's like, so what's the point? Like, in terms of, like, destroying back row, like, again, his effect is slow. He's a turtle, so that makes sense, but his effect is slow. If you want a faster effect, then you go with Breaker, you go with Lila. Like, there are faster cards to destroy back row with. So, why would you use him? Well, after thinking about it, the only logical answer I can come up with is for Silent Swordsman decks. And as weird as that sound, he is technically a warrior, and if you do get his effect off against a random rogue deck, then you're going to pop a Floodgate. Then you could pop a Floodgate or a Canadia that would possibly disrupt your swordsman, and, you get an extra turn or two with that swordsman going up, but, like, other than that, like, there isn't, like, much of a point. Like, which, personally speaking, again, going back to the Ancient Gear argument, there are decks with a lot of, like, really strong monsters, such as Silent Swordsman, or such as, like, Kwakimeru, to where I would want to be able to pop monsters over back row in those scenarios. Like, if they use their back row, that's material they use up, but if I can't run over their monster, then that's a problem. So in those cases, I would rather run Man-Eater Bug or Snowman Eater, just to get rid of their monsters. And in any case, like, with Man-Eater Bug is a level 2 monster that I could revive off Strong Synchron, whereas Snowman Eater has higher defense, it has 1900 defense. So if I'm using a Tribute Summon deck, I could just Tribute it. With Hydro Tortoise is kind of hit or miss. Like, either you set him, and then you can stall with him, and then you just flip, and you get a little bit of advantage, but he only has 1400 attack, whereas, like, Breaker the Magical Warrior has a faster effect and has 1600 attack. Like, I don't mind this card being introduced. I don't mind new cards being introduced. He is a new card. That is the one major positive of him, but why otherwise? Like, is this not really a beneficial time for him? Like with Mirror of Oaths. Mirror of Oaths is kind of a silly argument because people can play Double Cyclone and just get rid of it. But at the same time, if they summon Reactor Dragon from their deck, you can use Mirror of Oaths and you can get rid of it. Like, with Mirror of Oaths, there's an argument to be made. With Hydro Tortoise against the Ancient Gear matchup is bad. Any other matchup is kind of decent, or at least it's a little bit of disruptive, a little bit of material being played with, but otherwise, yeah. But that said, what do you think of this Pick a Gift? Is it 3 steps back, really, or is it what we need right now? Let me know in the comments, and have a good day.